What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight at 140 pounds here in Sydney, Australia between George Kambosos Jr. and Jake Wyllie. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. And if you haven't already, a lot of you guys are watching my content and you're unaware that you haven't hit subscribe yet. Could you please do that now, as well as like this video and hit the bell notifications buttons. That will alert you every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. All right, guys, we had a reshuffling in the fight schedule a bit. This card was almost canceled. We know Matchroom and Riyadh season is behind it, and George Kambosos Jr.'s original opponent, Jordan from Indonesia, goes to get last-second medical checks, and he was administered into the hospital. He had to pull out of the fight early this week, and in steps 140-pound Australian champion Jake Wyllie. Jake is a knockout artist from the Fortitude Valley, Queensland. He's 16-1 with 15 knockouts. Want to give a shout out to my boy Deadly Dana Colwell. He's been featured on the show before. He's the guy who fought Shushu Carrington. Little fun fact for you, the only fight that Jake didn't win by knockout was against Dana. That was years ago anyway, but Dana took him to a split decision. So Jake Wyllie's a different fighter now. This is a young, hungry 24-year-old with nothing to lose. In this video, we're gonna remind everybody who George is. We're also gonna educate everybody who Jake is. We'll go over their most recent fights, their recent resumes, see what they've been up to. We'll also talk about Las Vegas and the odds. I'll tell you where I'm gonna put my money at, and stay tuned to the end of the video because this is a prediction video. Let's get started by telling everybody and catching everyone up to date on what happened earlier in the week and what's at stake in this fight. Jordan forced to withdraw on medical grounds for blockbuster show at Sydney's Kudos Bank Arena, live worldwide on DAZN. Ferocious George Kambosos Jr. will now face a huge Australian clash against young knockout artist Jake Wyllie in the Sydney homecoming this Saturday, live on DAZN. The 24-year-old Queensland native steps in at under a week's notice for the main event after Kambosos Jr.'s original opponent, Jordan, was ruled out on medical grounds following a visit to a hospital in his homeland of Indonesia. Wyllie, promoted by No Limit Boxing, has an impressive resume of 16 wins and 17 fights with 15 victories by way of knockout. And he is ready to spoil Kambosos' homecoming party at the Kudos Bank Arena, brought to fans around the globe under the sponsorship of Riyadh season. This is what dreams are made of. I've already arranged tickets to come watch on Saturday, and now I'm fighting in the main event, said the Australian super lightweight champion Wyllie. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm ready to take it with both hands. George has boxed at the highest level in the sport, but I'm young, ambitious, and ready to put it all on the line in Sydney on Saturday. Expect fireworks. Jake the Machine Wyllie is coming. The mission remains the same for Kambosos Jr., however, with the former undisputed lightweight world champion relishing his first test in the 140-pound division as he sets his sights on a potential world title fight with IBF champion Richardson Hitchens, and I quote, "I'm ready to showcase all the hard work I've been putting in over the last 3 months, no matter who the opponent is," said Kambosos Jr., 21-3 with 10 knockouts. Boxing is unpredictable, and it is very unfortunate to have Jordan medically pull out 5 days before the event, but the ferocious show goes on because there is no show without me. Victory is the only thing on my mind, no matter what, and it sets up my 140-pound world title shot next. I want to give a good local Aussie kid a shot. Jake Wyllie's 16-1, 15 knockouts stands out. He is the current Australian 140-pound national champion, the only one that hasn't been disrespectful for a payday, and I like how he's gone about his business in the boxing world. So I'm giving Jake the Rocky shot, the opportunity, but that's where it ends. This is not a Rocky movie. Don't get it twisted. There is no happy ending. A ferocious statement is what you'll see on Saturday night. Victory by any means. When this was announced that Jordan pulled out and a local Aussie kid steps in, I feel as fight fans, this makes for better TV. I think there's more sort of intrigue now on this fight. I've done my due diligence to look at what the international boxing content creators on YouTube are saying, and I gotta be honest with you, I found a lot of people who are thinking that Wyllie is going to step in on short notice and beat George Kambosos Jr. And the reasoning is that they're impressed by that sparkly record, they're impressed with his youth and age, and they're not that impressed with how George has looked over his last few fights. So right now, I want to take a closer look at Kambosos' last few fights. All right, guys, to remind everyone, George Kambosos is 21-3 with 10 knockouts. He's currently ranked number 42 in the world at 140 pounds and ranked number 2 in Australia, right behind Liam Perro. He has 177 career total pro rounds boxed and he walks into the ring with a 48% career knockout to win ratio. The 31-year-old Australian's a 5'9" orthodox fighter with a 68-inch reach. We last saw him fight Lomachenko 17-3. He got stopped in the 11th. Maxie Hughes 26-5. He won a majority decision in the 12th. Devin Haney the second time lost a decision in the 12th. Haney the first time lost a decision in the 12th. And then Teofimo Lopez, who was 16-0, George won a split decision in the 12th. Guys, boxing is a sport of what? I say it all the time. What have you done for me lately? And sometimes all it takes is one amazing moment, one great performance to highlight and enshrine a career, whether you're in the middle of the career or at the end of the career. And with George Kambosos, that performance against Teofimo Lopez set him on a superstar trajectory. And you could say what you want about him. You could talk about how he lost 2 times to Devin Haney. You could talk about he's lost 3 out of his last 4. But what you can't talk about is that George Kambosos is a draw. People tweet worldwide about George Kambosos. Champions at 35 and 40 know that if they fight George Kambosos in Australia, they're going to get a headline main event in a packed arena with the whole world's eyes on them. So don't forget that. And with Jake Wyllie, he has an opportunity to do the same thing. Obviously, the cards are going to be stacked against Wyllie's short notice fight, but he is coming off a fight. We saw him on the undercard, and his fight got stopped due to a cut. It was an accidental clash of heads, but it wasn't him who got cut. So he steps. It's not like he wasn't in fight camp. It's not like he wasn't training. And at 24 years old, this modern day of boxing, especially here in Australia, these guys stay fit. These guys train year round. Everybody is waiting with the hand up whenever an opportunity like this arises, and Jake put his hand up first. It's good to see. I'm excited to see what he does with this opportunity. Right now, I want to share a little bit about what he's been up to. Guys, Jake Wylie's 16-1 with 15 knockouts. He's currently ranked 95 in the world at 140 pounds and 5 within Australia. He currently has 51 total pro rounds, and he carries into the ring a 94% career knockout to win ratio. The Australian's 24 years old. He's an orthodox fighter standing at 5'7". We last saw him only a few weeks ago against Alan Villanueva, who was 13-6. That fight ended in a no contest due to a headbutt. Dylan Emery, 23-1, knockout in the 4th. Paharn, 2-0, knockout in the 1st. Wyllie Wong, 7-4, knockout in the 2nd. Houston, 5-1, knockout in the 4th. Guys, it's easy to get sort of enamored by the knockout to win ratio, by the record, but as fight fans, especially the longer you've been in the game, you understand the importance and the relevance of opponents. Jake's never fought a 12-round fight. He's never fought anyone even as close to being as seasoned as George Kambosos Jr. George fights for world titles. George packs out arenas. So this is a huge step up for Wyllie. I know his sparring partners, his camp is extremely confident in him. They think that he has the skills and the tools for what it takes to dethrone George. And if he is able to do it, he's literally the next in line. He is the next big name in Australian boxing. And this is why I feel that with Jordan stepping out and Wyllie stepping in, that narrative, the storyline of the fight, I think got a lot stronger. When we think about what it means to step up and fight the best competition in boxing, boxing is a sport where our physical tools are tested each time. So whether you win or lose, you're able to get a clear eyesight on what you need to work on and things that you need to add into your tool game. And George has done that. We have to remember he's sparring with Manny Pacquiao in America. This helped set his pro career up. After he beat Teofimo Lopez, he went on the Joe Rogan Experience, the world's #1 podcast, and talked exactly about the relevance and the importance with his career, learning from Manny Pacquiao and the lessons he took from sparring with him. I want to play a little bit of that for you right now.
And to be able to have an opportunity like that to spar 250 rounds with one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he won world titles in what, 8 divisions?
8 divisions, 13 or 14 world titles.
Crazy.
It would never be done again. And all of a sudden he's landed 3, 4, 5 shots and then he's angled off. A lot like I did in my fight against Lopez. You know, a lot of that, sparring paid off and it did shape me. And I know he did put out a tweet as well, saying that I hope the sparring we did, helped you in this fight, and straight away.
That's amazing.
And I was so excited.
And guys, this is the exact reason when you look at the odds Las Vegas has put on this fight. A, it's a last-second replacement. B, Wyllie's 24 years old. It's a massive step up for him. So let's look at the money line first of these odds. Remember, guys, I'm here in Australia. The betting app I use is Sportsbet. All right, guys, on the money line, if you put $100 on George, you only get $7 in return. The draw is 26 to 1, so $100 gets you 2,600. If you put 100 on Jake right now, where the bettors are putting their money, that's a 10 to 1 return, so you get 1,000 back. Jake Wyllie's a 10 to 1 underdog. Now, when we're thinking about finding more juice for this bet, if you want to take George and you want to put him on a parlay or just do a massive bet, these are some of the method of victory bets. If you take George by points, it's a 3 to 1, so $100 gets you over $300. George by knockout is only $1.50, so that's where the money's at. All the bettors and punters are saying that the odds of George knocking Jake out are higher than the odds of him winning by a decision. $100 only gets you $50 in return. We already talked about that 26 to 1 draw. With Jake Wyllie winning a decision, going all 12 for the first time in his career, 23 to 1. For Jake to knock out George, 14 to 1. So the money and the bettors are saying for Jake to win, it's more likely for him to knock out Kambosos. 14 to 1, 100 will get you 1,400 back. And he did get stopped in his last fight against Lomachenko in the 11th. And this is his first fight at 140 pounds. So that money makes sense for the Jake Wyllie bet. Now, what I want to talk about is where I'm putting my money at. It's always going to be a tough ask in boxing for a young kid to step up, have his Rocky moment, and expect him to win. He's had no tape on George Kambosos, no fight camp, but you know, at 24 years old in Australia, he's probably seen all of George's fights. He said in the interview that he had tickets to go see this fight before they called him, so that in itself is a beautiful part of the sport. Imagine being a guy, a fighter, who pays to go see a fight, and then during fight week, you get called to be the main event. That's exciting in itself, and hats go off to both guys. Without George taking this fight, the whole card gets canceled. So that in itself, you got to give kudos to George Kambosos. All the other fighters on the undercard now get paid. They get to show off their skills, and the event goes on. Here's my prediction. I'm going with George Kambosos. You look at his resume, he's fought the best of the best. He dodges no smoke. I don't think he's looking past anyone. You watch a couple hours of his fights, you watch his training, you hear him talk. This guy at 31 years old is equally as focused as he was at 25 years old. I fully expect him to go in there and be the teacher versus the student in this matchup. I don't expect him to be in trouble. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm just telling you where I'm putting my money. I'm going to take George Kambosos by knockout. $100 gets you 49 in return, so it's $1.49. I'm going to probably put that on a parlay, so stay tuned to the channel throughout the week, and I'll put my bets up in the community section. Like always, you don't have to agree with me in the comment section below. Jake Wyllie, decision or knockout. George Kambosos Jr., decision or knockout. Let me know. Also, if you didn't see my feature and prediction video on the world title fight at 126 pounds between the ladies, the WBC champion Sky Nicholson and the American Tiara Brown, stay tuned to the end of this video because it's coming up right now.